Serving the people of Africa through the development of a solid governance architecture within the African Union is the main motivation of Ambassador Salah Siddig Hammad, head of the Secretariat of the African Governance Architecture of the African Union, enjoying the human rights segment of the African Union's Department of Political Affairs 6 years ago.
Africa, as we all know, has been going through a lot of challenges, from the slavery to colonialism to apartheid to the Red Terror, genocide and civil wars. And that is why our heads of state and government decided in their own wisdom to adopt Agenda 2063 for building the Africa we want and the Africa we deserve.
In 2024, more than 130 million people are facing humanitarian emergencies due to conflict, the threat of terrorism, and the effects of climate change. This flood of refugees and internally displaced people in 14 countries across the continent saw only a third of their needs covered in 2023. Ambassador Salah Siddig Hammad is concerned about the situation.
As Africans, once we are united, we become a power within the international fora, but also will enable the African citizens and the African youth in particular to move around the continent freely and to reside wherever they want to reside and establish new lives.
Ambassador Salah Siddig Hammad has more than 25 years' experience of fighting for respect for human rights and is particularly interested in press freedom in Africa. On December 29, 2020, the African Commission of Human and People's Rights adopted a resolution on the safety of journalists and media professionals in Africa. The head of the Secretariat of the African Governance Architecture of the African Union has made it its mission to remind the states parties of their commitments, in particular the decriminalisation of press offences and the revision of laws guaranteeing freedom of expression.
But it is not only about ratifying the treaty, it's also about domestication, implementation and reporting, and making sure that we are really in the right path to implement this very important treaty at the national level.
The African Governance Architecture was adopted by the member states of the African Union in 2011. This mechanism promotes common African values such as good governance, democracy, fair and equitable elections, and respect for human rights. According to Ambassador Salah Siddig Hammad, the aim of these values is to prevent conflicts on the African continent.